There is a lesson. Its name is How Daddy Was Always Late. In this lesson, there is a dad. There is a father who was always late to school. So, what type of story this is, we will get to know when we will read it. So, the first sentence is written here that when Daddy was little, he went to school just like all other children. When Daddy was little, he went to school just like all other children. It is told through the sentences to us that one person there is, and he is speaking the story towards us, and he told here that his daddy, when his daddy was a little boy, his father went to school always like all other children. The person is telling here that sentences to us. The next sentence is written here that all the other children came to school before the bell rang. It is told through the sentences to us that all the other children came to school before the bell rang. It is told through the sentences to us that all other children, they came to school before the bell rang, and all other children came to school before the bell rang. The person is telling here, it is told through the sentences to us that all other except his father, all other children, they came to school before ring the bell at school. The next sentence is written here that but little Teddy always reached school late for some reason or the other. It is told through the sentences to us that while all other children, they came to school before ring the bell, but his father came to school. His father reached school late. His father reached school late for some reason, and for some other reason. It is told through the sentences to us that the person is telling here that there is a father who went to school always very late. When the other children, they reached school before the bell rang, but his father always he was late to school for some reason. The next sentences are written here that their rich parents could not do a thing about it. Every evening the same old story would repeat itself. It is told through the sentences to us that the person is telling here that it is told through the sentences to us that his daddy's parents, they could not do anything about it, and every evening the same story would repeat itself at evening. Person is telling here the person is telling here to us. It is told through the sentences to us that the father always was late to school for some reason, while the other children, they came to school before ring the bell, but his father always late to school for some reason, and his parents also could not do anything about it, about getting late to school, and at every evening the same old story would repeat itself at evening. The next sentences are written here that have you done your homework, grandma would ask. It is told through the sentences to ask that have you done your homework, grandma would ask. It is told through the sentences to ask that as it is told before that uh, every evening the old story would repeat by someone at evening. So it means the grandma the grandma there is, and the grandma there is, and she will ask the little teddy that has he done the homework or not at evening. And this old story was repeating every day at evening. It is told through the sentences to ask that. Wait a second, little daddy would answer. And it is told through the sentences to ask that. And whenever grandma asked the little daddy would reply to her, wait a second, wait a second. The little daddy told to the grandmother. It is told, the next sentences are written here that stop that reading and start your homework immediately, grandma would say. It is told through the sentences to ask that. It is told through the sentences to ask that. When daddy replied to her that, wait a second, I will give the homeworks to you to check. So then grandmother would say to say to the little daddy that, wait a second, I will give the homework. Then grandmother would say to little daddy that, stop reading this and that and do the homeworks immediately. The grandmother would say these things to the little daddy. The next sentences are written here that just one more page, little daddy would say. And whenever grandma asked little daddy to do the homework immediately, stop reading this and that. After that, little daddy replied to her that, just one more page, I will do my homework right now. The little daddy would reply to grandmother. The next sentences are written here. The next sentences written here that uh, little daddy would finish the page and start a new one. Little daddy would finish the page and start a new one. It is told through the sentences to ask that. And then little father would finish his reading, and he would start a new page to read. The next sentences are written here that he just could not put down an interesting book to start doing the dull lessons. It is told through the sentences to ask that the little daddy he would not stop his reading, and he is not going to do the dull homework at evening. It is told through the sentences to ask that. The next sentences is written here that just one more page, little daddy would say. Again, it is told through the sentences to ask that. Again, little daddy would reply to grandmother that just